I'm here today to help explain how one of the worst shots in golf occurs, what you can do about it, how you can fix it. First of all, again, thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. It is massively appreciated. And I know I say this every video, but it really is massively appreciated to help me bring these tips to you and help you and your game for free, of course. On to today's tip. Now, what is the worst shot in golf? What's one of the worst shots in golf? Some people might say it's the shank. Some people might say it's that toppy one. Some people might say it's a big hook. Some people might say it's a big slice. To me, this is one of the worst golf shots you can hit as a golfer out there. And it's this. It's what I call a toe shank with the driver. In other words, it comes right at the very bottom of that golf club, right at the very toe of the golf club. What happens to the ball? It just goes low and very, very much to the right-hand side. It is an awful, awful golf shot, and we want to completely banish it away for good. It might happen just once in every 20 shots for you. It might happen once in every 15. It might happen once in every 40 shots for you. But it just happens, it just comes out of nowhere. And it doesn't feel like you've done anything different. But obviously you have, but it just doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like you've done anything massively different in your backswing, downswing, through swing. It doesn't feel like anything different. But it's usually what I call brewing under the surface. In other words, you get away with it, you time it well, despite what's happening in the swing, but then it just crops up. If we don't time it quite as well, we don't time getting that club in to that golf ball as well as we can do. Here's the big reason as to why it happens. What happens in a game of golf, especially I see this, and I'm talking a bit of a demographic here. I'm saying, let's say, middle-aged men, anywhere between 40 and 60, where they've had a little bit of experience in the game of golf, but they really try and hit the ball. They're still trying to really hit it out there to get some distance, which makes total sense. Absolutely, we're allowed to do that. However, the problem is what happens usually when we really try and hit out the ball is we stop turning. We stop turning our chest and we stop turning our hips on the way through. So we end up hitting more what I like to call more of a cricket shot out there. We end up trying to guide the club and trying to hit the ball outwards. The problem is we end up hitting it more of a cricket shot out there. We end up trying to hit the ball as hard as we can do, but not allowing the rotation to take the club and take control of the sweet spot and the club face as well. So the massive issue we've got here is the body stops, but the club keeps on going. And the end result is a handle that goes further away from us. As a result, the club comes closer to us, and the club ends up very high in relation to the ground on the way through, meaning we're more than likely going to catch the very bottom toe end of that golf club. Even if we do hit it nicely, it's usually going to get those quick hooks, or we can get those big pushes out there. Those are three of the bad shots, but the worst one that you will encounter is that one that comes out the bottom of the golf club and out the toe end of that golf club, all because we're trying to hit it with no rotation. Here's what we need to try and do. You've more than likely got a good backswing where you do rotate nicely. But what I want you to really try and feel from here, if this is you, if you're prone to that low toe shot, I want you to feel like you're allowing your chest and your hips to turn through that ball. Because you'll notice then when we give that club room and the arms room to swing, they end up quite low and around. When they end up quite low and around, more than likely we're going to get that club under the ball. So we've got no chance of catching the bottom. But also coincided with that is the sensation that that sweet spot is going more out towards the ball. Look, we got, no, I'm only doing this in slow motion, but for just demonstration purposes, that ball is going to more than likely hit the middle and not the toe. So it's allowing that club to be rotated around a circular arc as opposed to a lot of stand-up trying to hit at the ball, worst case scenario, low toe. But if we allow ourselves to gently, not forcefully, gently turn the chest and the hips around, we've got more chance of getting that club down to the ground and more chance of hitting that sweet spot on the golf club. So don't try and hit at the ball, try and feel like you're turning through. Remember, it's called a golf swing, it's not called a golf hit. Remember, it's called a golf swing, it's not called a golf hit. and it feels like you're putting very little effort into it, but my word, it'll go. And my word, you will completely stop that horrible, horrible low toey shot. It's disaster. We want to avoid disaster.